Thierry, Aparna, Saurabh, thank you very much for speaking with CNBC-TV18. Thierry, first talk about the quarter gone by. Revenues have fallen for the fourth consecutive quarter, but at minus 1.7% sequentially, it's actually closer to the upper end of your guidance. So in what way was this quarter better than your expectations? Where did it meet and where did it miss?
Rima, I would say that, first of all, we know that the context, the market conditions haven't changed for the last quarters, and they continue to be a little bit of, soft and, driven by uncertainty, especially in some industries, right? Like banking, financial services, technology, communications, and so on. In this context, right, over the last quarters, we've indeed, seen a significant reduction of the discretionary spend, despite the rather strong performance in sales, and in particular in large deals. What we have seen throughout Q3 is been a slight, gradual improvement of the situation, leading us to end, at the top end of our guidance.
Fair enough. So can you talk about consulting? Because in your press release, you're talking about a double-digit increase in the order book for Capco. So what was the performance of Capco and Rising in the current quarter? And in your guidance for the next quarter, what are you penciling in?
Well, okay. So you're absolutely right. This is interesting to look at, what's going on in the consulting space, because it's an early indicator of slowdown and acceleration. Okay? We have seen that over the years. Typically, this is the area of, services where reduction in discretionary spend is impacting the overall revenue trajectory. So about, a few quarters ago, we were among the first one to call a little bit of a slowdown coming on that front because of the strengths we have in our consulting space, in particular in the banking and financial services, as you know. What we've observed over the last quarters was a continued softness of the performance in bookings, leading to a contraction of the revenue on the Capco side. And we've been, reporting on it to you every quarter. What we are seeing this quarter is actually a little bit of a turnaround. The perception that, things might be slowly improving. We are being, on purpose, cautiously optimistic about the situation. Difficult to make a trend from one single quarter. Let's see how things are going. We are only in January. January and February are typically months where companies finalize their budget of spend in IT or in services for, the calendar year to come. So let's, keep an eye on it. But, what is certainly a data for us to base our cautious optimism on is the performance in bookings of Capco over the last quarter, which indeed has been the strongest of the last 3-4 quarters. And so I think we take it as a positive sign. Talking to some of our clients, talking to the teams, there's also a perception of, pipeline coming back, a little bit of discretionary spend coming back. And so let's see how things are going. But certainly we see green shoots is what I would say.
Okay, there are green shoots in discretionary spend coming back, and that's good to know. Aparna, talk about your margin performance this time. Despite a 1-month impact of wage hikes, you've managed to pretty much maintain margins at 16%. So the margin breakup, and what's the outlook over the next quarter?
Yeah, we've done a very good job of keeping our margins nearly flat as Q2 at 16%. We had 1 month of wage increase. We also had a headwind of the seasonality of furloughs. We also had certain one-offs in Q2. So we really had to work up our way through the margins in the quarter. We've done an incredible job of on 3 counts. 1, we maximized our revenues. We've come at the top end. That has helped. 2, we're making structural improvements in our costs through pyramid improvements, increased productivity in our fixed price projects, through increased automation, AI, and also reducing discretionary spends during the quarter. All of them have added nicely, and that's how we've delivered 16%. As I look forward, we're confident to hold this in a narrow band.
When do you get to your aspirational range of 17%? Do you see it happening in the next 3 quarters?
I've just talked you through the journey of several improvements that we've been making. A lot of them are actually paying off, and that's why you're seeing our margins being resilient. For it to expand, I think we will just need to wait for the growth to return more consistently. And, Thierry has already spoken of green shoots, so hopefully that should follow as well, an expansion in margins.
Okay, so stable now, and then you're hopeful that margins will expand. Saurabh, sorry, excuse me. Attrition has already come down at a decade low for you. Does it fall further from here on? And how much of a lever can falling attrition, easing supply side be for the company in FY25? As in, is this a trend which will continue even in FY25, considering we've already come down to, a comfortable range for the industry?
So, Rima, if I look at the entire supply chain, attrition, as you're right, 10-quarter low right now, but that's also driven by a lot of the demand environment. And this is the first quarter, as we are seeing green shoots, as Thierry called out, in some discretionary spend. I'm also seeing certain uptick happening on net new resignations. It's early days. We'll see how it goes. So very clearly, attrition will follow what's happening in the demand environment. Today, for us, lower attrition, headspace to improve utilization, and which we have done over the last few quarters, has helped us utilize our internal talent pool very effectively. And that's what you are seeing. But I feel now the attrition, as we move forward, will be driven by what we're seeing from a macro environment.
Fair enough. Thierry, this is a bit of a uncomfortable question. But has there been any communication from the promoters of the company about the performance of Wipro? Because there were some reports in the quarter gone by where it did appear that the promoters are a bit unhappy with Wipro's lagging performance versus peers. Has there been any communication from the promoters?
Rima, I will not certainly not comment what you could read in a press somewhere. But what I can tell you is certainly I'm communicating constantly with the promoters and with the chairman, and I'm in constant interaction on multiple fronts. And I'm very pleased with the level of our interaction. That's all I can tell you. And I feel that I'm in an environment that I absolutely need, and that, to do my job and drive, the organization forward.
Okay, so there hasn't been any communication expressing displeasure about the performance of Wipro?
No, I think when we are constantly interacting, whether it's with the promoters or with the board members or with the executive committee team, we are reflecting on, what's going on, what's working well, what can be improved. I think there is a strong alignment on, in a way, what we've done, the achievements we've done, what we still need to continue to do, and, the priorities to address over the next quarters. And I think that's, I'm very pleased about this alignment overall.
And since it's still a work in progress, if you would be offered another term at Wipro to complete the job, the task that you had taken on, would you be open to doing it? But though you still have a year and a half to go, I understand, but just asking.
I think I'm going to have this kind of questions, over the next months until, the end of the term. That's the rule of the game. I love what I'm doing. I have a great team. We've done a fabulous job over the last years and, very positive about what's ahead of us. Is that clear enough?
Okay, thank you very much, Thierry, Aparna, and Saurabh. All the very best and congratulations on a better showing this quarter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rima.